As you can see on my screen, today's session is about fuzzy matching. So what is fuzzy matching about? By the way, in case you hear some background music, I don't know what kind of party is happening in the house opposite mine, but they seem to be doing a kind of Friday kind of groove on a Sunday. So I'm going to share my screen. I have the practice data that we're going to use. Unfortunately, because I'm going to do a lot, maybe I will share the practice file afterwards, not while I am doing the work, or not before. So let me share the screen of the PC that has the practice data. Okay. So today I want to take us through a situation that is very, very common in data analysis. It's very common if you've been using Excel to help other people. It's not rare. It's not going to take too much time before someone will have a situation like this that they will come to you to ask for help regarding. You know, it happens a lot. I see this happen a lot with the HR guys where they are trying to reconcile especially when it comes to people who provide services for them, like contract staff. And so sometimes they need to reconcile the invoices that the contract company sends, and you need to match it with their own internal records and be sure that they are not overpaying or things are not being falsified. So it's a very common situation. And what am I trying to say? If you look at this list, so this is a company ABC, that have some contract staff. So these are the contract staff. Contract staff means that they do not pay the staff directly. They pay the contracting company. So the contracting company will now pay the staff. So take, for instance, the security guys in many companies. For most companies, the security men are not direct employees. So maybe they pay Allogene Securities or they pay ABC Securities Limited to provide them 5 or 6 security staff, security men, and so you get the whole explanation, right? At the end of the month, you will pay Allogene. I don't know, maybe you are paying 100,000 naira per month per security man. Then you're going to pay, if you have 10 security men, you will pay Allogene, say 100,000 naira times 10, right? Then Allogene will pay those staff, right? So great, now you understand. But then let's dive into the situation we have. So these are the people, let's say this is your company, right? So these are the people that you have that are contract staff, and these are the names of the contracting firm, the contractors that you now pay to at the end of the month, right? So every month, they send you, their invoice, and you too, every month, you have record of who has worked for you, right? So you want to calculate, so this is the month of March. If I want to calculate how much I'm supposed to pay for the month of March, it's a very simple thing. Is it not for me to do a VLOOKUP? Do a VLOOKUP here. I don't know why it's looking difficult for me to type. Do a VLOOKUP here and say, great, go and get me the daily rate of this staff. So I say, go look for this staff in this list, right? In fact, in this entire list, and get me his daily rate, which is 1, 2, 3, column 3. Get me exactly what I am looking for. My keyboard has a problem anyway. So get me exactly what I'm looking for, right? And there's a problem. It's telling me it can't find Chukwu Adetosoye, right? And let's look at it. Chukwu Adetosoye, as a human being, I know this is the person. But then, are you seeing the problem? his name has been swapped here. So here it was his last name and his first name. Here it is his first name and his last name. Excel VLOOKUP will not think that is the same record, right? So you need something that can do a kind of human pattern matching, like look at it and say, oh, this is the same person, right? It's just that maybe here he wrote his first name first and his other place he wrote his last name first, right? So how then can you do this? If the records are not many, maybe you have just 3 people to do for, then not a problem. I can manually do this. But when you have many records, you don't want to do a manual process, right? So that brings us to fuzzy matching. So fuzzy matching is that is the term for it. I don't know too much about the story behind it. I don't even know, maybe there's a special meaning to the name, but then practically fuzzy matching is what we will use to say, just look at the pattern of the names. If they are very, very similar, then that's the person, right? So there are 2 ways, 2 tools in Excel that we can readily use to achieve this, right? So let me just reduce the amount of space in here, see if I can increase the zoom so that you can see what I'm saying. Let's start with way number 1. Way number 1 is using this tool called Fuzzy Lookup. So Fuzzy Lookup is a tool that we have in Excel. I think some, yeah. I've gone to use a keyboard shortcut that, okay, I think it's coming back. Great. I won't use the keyboard shortcut again. So there's Fuzzy Lookup, right? Fuzzy Lookup is a tool in Microsoft that this should not be happening. So what is happening is I have some software that allows me to zoom my screen. So whenever that software goes crazy, this is what happens. Let me see if there's anything I can do to salvage the situation. Let me close some things. Close this. Is there any other thing I can close? Okay, let's see if this works. Apologies, huh? Otherwise I will just have to restart the PC. So let's go check. I think I will have to uninstall one of those applications before they get me into too much trouble. Okay, so while that is doing its own annoying thing, I can quickly share my screen, my other screen, and take you through what I wanted to say. So I said that there are 2 ways, and one way is via a tool by Microsoft called Fuzzy Lookup. Fuzzy Lookup by Microsoft. So while I'm doing that, maybe I'll just force this one to restart. I hope you see my screen, right? So while that is happening, let's restart that. So Fuzzy Lookup add-in for Excel. If you go on Google and you type Fuzzy Lookup add-in for Excel, you're going to see this. Now, I need to warn you, make sure that you are downloading the one from Microsoft. Don't go download any other one that you see, in the search result. Make sure you are going to the answer that is coming directly from Microsoft. You don't want to download something that will damage your computer or something that is malicious, right? So once you go there, right, it's a small file. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist for Mac, so I will have to switch back to my Windows, but this is where you go to download it. So when you've downloaded it, you're going to see it show in your own Excel from that moment onwards. So let me just bring up my Okay, so while my Excel is coming up, you download this, you click on download and you install. The installation is very straightforward. It's a very small file anyway. So my Teams is coming up here. I'm going to reshare my screen here and hopefully I shouldn't have any problem anymore. So it's coming up. Okay, so it's open here. Sorry. Okay, great. So it's launching. Add this device, share my screen. Welcome to the age of technology where even when everything works fine, there's the thing you at least expect to cause problem. That is going to cause a problem. So let me just verify that what I'm sharing is what you're also seeing. Okay, great. So let's start with the Fuzzy Lookup, right? I mentioned that that's when you go, you download it. I already showed you where you download. Once you install it, right? The moment you install, you see it as part of your menu items. Okay, so now let's do the solution. Problem is this. Let's talk about the problem. The problem is because some names are not written correctly. This person's name, if you look at this, this person is the same person here, right? But then his names have been swapped. Let's look for someone else. I think I got an assistant trainer, but the mom does not want the trainer to join us today. That's not fair. So this person here is here, right? But then if you try to use our normal formula, our normal formulas will not work. You know why? In Excel's mind, this is not the same as this. So I will be having problems. Similarly, in Excel's mind, this is not the same as this. So if you use VLOOKUP, it will not work because as far as Excel is concerned, they are different people, right? So what do? Let's start with lookup, fuzzy lookup, right? I select the table 1. Now, fuzzy lookup requires that you convert all of these, though they look like a table to you, but there's a table format in Excel. So fuzzy requires that you convert this to a table. It's not a difficult thing. Under home menu, you will see format as table, and you can use a keyboard shortcut and say Control-T, whichever you remember to do. So I'm going to convert them to a table. So let's say I convert this to a table. It doesn't matter the pattern you choose, whether color black, color green, color blue, color yellow. The color is just a beauty kind of thing. Then I have to do likewise for this. So I also have to convert this to a table. So under home menu, you will see format as table. So I have to do this for the both of them. So once you have done this, now you can do the fuzzy match. So let me create space for where I want my answers to be. Okay, so that I don't let you squint your eyes. I am going to go to fuzzy lookup. I'm going to click on fuzzy lookup. Now I need to let you be aware of something. you need to click where you want the answer to be. So it's make sure you're not here or anywhere else that the answer is not going to be. Preferably, I like my answer to be somewhere on the right. So I click there. I go to Fuzzy Lookup. Now let me zoom my screen so you will see what is happening actually. So it pops up on this extreme right corner of my Excel, and it instantly detects the tables. Let me show you how. This is actually table 1, right? And this, if I go to the left, you see it's table 2. Instantly it has detected it. If you have more than 2 tables, you can pick the one you want to do a fuzzy lookup between, right? So, well, it has done it correctly for me, so I'm not going to stress myself. Now, I need to tell it, what am I matching? I think it's a bit smart. It has noticed that maybe staff name is what is common between the two that I want to use to do the match. Yes, that's right, but maybe that is wrong. I can come here and pick something else, but staff name is the right one, so I'm going to take it back to staff name. Now that I've taken it back to staff name, right? So the next thing is, what are the columns that I want to return? So the default configuration, let's just take a look at it. Let me zoom again. So whatever you pick here will show you anyway. Then if you scroll down a bit, you'll see that the default configuration is it returns all of the records across the 2 tables, right? So table 1, and then whatever it has found that matched table 1, right? And if you want to return the similarity score, was it a 100% similarity? Was it a something else, maybe 90% similarity? So it does a similarity score. So, and these are the configurations. You can reduce the threshold. You can say you don't want it to be lenient. You want it to pick only when they are very, very, very similar. When the similarity score is really high, then I'll drag this more to the right. So the higher the threshold, the stricter the lookup works. So it's going to be picking things that are very, very, very similar. Anyway, I'm going to take it back to what it was, and then remember what I said in case you've forgotten. Make sure you click where the answer should be. Make sure you click where the answer should be. If I want the answer to be put here for me, then I click here, then I click on go. So I click on go, and it will start its work, right? It starts doing the match, see, and it is done. So it has matched for me the records. Let me expand the cells so that the columns. So you'll see where the similarity is 100%. Can you see it has worked? All right. So it has gotten me that this is the same as this, even though the spelling is different. This is the same as this, even though this person has a J in the as a middle name in initial, and this person doesn't have that. And here, well, this is exactly the same. So you get the whole idea, right? And the ones that were not there, it's made empty, and so this has worked, right? That's what I want you to see. And whenever you have a problem that is similar to this can make your life very easy. Okay, now let's go to approach number 2. So this approach is the one where you install an add-in called Fuzzy Lookup. Okay, and how do you get the add-in? You go to Google, you type you want to download Fuzzy Lookup add-in, and make sure you click on the answer that comes from Microsoft. I showed us that earlier, and then install. It's just as straightforward as that. So let's go to way number 2. Way number 2 is using Power Query. So now this way number 2 requires that you have Excel 2016 and above. I think someone is commenting. Let me just go check. Maybe there's something I need to do or something the person is drawing my attention to. So I'm checking the chat box. I can notice a notification there. Okay, so you say you are not seeing the screen. How about now? Are you seeing the screen, or is the problem persisting? Mr. Monday, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. So thank you. So I'm going to continue then. So way number 2 is using Power Query. Now, Power Query is already in your Excel. You don't have to go install it if you are using 2016 and above. But if you are using Excel 2013, then you will have to go install it. How will you know which version you are using? That's another question, you know, people ask. If you go to File, so it can be really different for all of us, right? I would say always look for account first. So if you see account, that's the fastest way. If you go to accounts, you're going to see, if you see anything that says 365, then congratulate yourself, you know, shake yourself, and that means you're on the version that we have it. But then if what you are seeing here is Office 2013, Excel 2013 or Excel 2007, Excel 2007 is a problem. You need to preferably just upgrade. You know, you shouldn't be using Excel 2007 in this year anymore. There are so many things that has been added to Excel that you are denying yourself of. So make sure it is 2016 if you can, but if you have 2013, there's still a way out. So if you have Excel 2013, if you go to, let me use Firefox now. If you go online and just search for Power Query adding for Excel 2013. So remember what I said the other time. Pick the answer that is from Microsoft. It applies also here. Make sure the answer you are picking from is the one that the website is showing Microsoft. So if you go here, then you can download for 2013. 2016 has it inbuilt. So that's why I'm saying if you have 2016 or 365, life is good, you know, no problem. You already have the Power Query I'm talking about. But in case you do not have, then, and you find out that your Excel is, oh, good news. If your Excel is 2010 or 2013, then you can do what I've said now. You can go to Google, search for Power Query for Excel 2013. You know, you'll see some instructions, blah, blah. Make sure you click on download anyway. After reading whatever you're reading, click on download. And once you install that, you will have Power Query in your Excel. But if you already use Excel 2016 and above, or Office 365, you don't need to do that. It's already natively in your Excel. So let's use a Power Query. I'm going to close this Fuzzy Lookup window. So way number 2, Power Query. I need to take the data into Power Query. So I'm going to select the first table. I'll say from, this used to be from range or table. But they've changed the name. So anyway, I'm going to click on this. So it's going to try to create a table for me. You don't have any option. You have to say yes. Or you don't have any other option. So once I do that, it brings it in here, right? I'm not done. I need to bring the other table also, right? So I am going to tell it that don't do ordinary close and load. Close and load to, then when it asks me to where, I'll say for now, do it to a connection. Just only create a connection, right? Then I say, okay. Let me mute the person. Okay, great. So I thought the person wanted to ask me a question, then I noticed it seems the person must be speaking to someone else. So I'm going to say only to a connection. Why I'm saying this is I'm not done. I just want to say put it inside Power Query for me. It's going to do that right now. It's doing its work. When it's done, you'll be seeing the progress here anyway on the right side of your screen, right? I'm going to go to the second one. Do likewise, select it. Go to data from table or range or from sheet, depending on the version of Excel you are using. So for some of you, it will be showing from table or range. Now for me, it is showing from sheet. It is the same thing. We just renamed it. I click on that same control. I say, okay, I'm going to get the same experience all over. So when it takes me back here, so I have the two things I need. I have the two tables that I need. I have the larger one, and then I also have the one on the smaller one that I want to kind of match together, right? So what do? I can start with any one. So let's say I want to start with this one. In fact, maybe I don't even want to alter these two. I want to do what I want to do as a separate table. So what do? It's called merge, but then it's Fuzzy Lookup we're going to do, but you will find it as an extra option in merge queries. So what do? I go to merge queries, and based on what I've just said, I don't want to alter the original tables. I'll say merge queries as new, merge queries as new. Then a new window is going to come up. Now in this window that has come up that you're seeing, it's telling me which are the tables I want to merge. So I want to merge this table with this other table, right? And then the default is usually what I need, which is all of what you see here. Go and look for matching records from this second table, and that's what it's doing. Left outer, all from this first table, match with this second table. That's what I want. But more importantly too, I want to use a fuzzy matching. So fuzzy matching, and if you want to set the similarity threshold, those things you saw in that one, you can. In my case, I'm okay with the default settings, right? So I'm just going to enable just this fuzzy matching, and I will say I need you to do staff to staff here. So the staff and staff are the matching fields that I want to use, okay? So that's it. So I want you to take a look at this, take a very good look at it. I've zoomed out. Let me zoom in again. Then zoom out a bit. Okay. So can you see what I've done? I set the table, the two tables. I indicate that this is the field that I want to use to match against this field here, right? I enable that I want to do a fuzzy lookup, fuzzy matching, and those are the things I'm doing. If you count, maybe they're like 3 steps. Indicate the tables, indicate the columns, enable fuzzy match. And I'm going to do the last step, which is to click on OK. So are we clear? You've taken a very good look at this. Right, so I'm going to resume my work. I click on OK, and then it's going to do its magic, right? So it has done it, right? If you look at this, it has created a new table for me called merge 1. And in this new table, it has done an additional table that I'm going to expand. So I'll come here, I'll say it should expand it for me, right? So let's just leave it as the default. I need it to just expand. I say okay. Once you do that, it expands to what it has found it to be matching with in the second table. Okay, so right now we are having almost the same answer. Are you noticing? But we are using different approaches. So when I'm done here now, I'm going to do the same close and load to, and it's going to ask me to where. I'll say to connection. There's a reason. So I'll say to connection, only create connection, right? So that is working. You see something happening on the extreme right. So now, how do I now see my answer? I don't need this one, I don't need this one, because they are exactly the duplication of this and this. What I need is the answer, right? So what do? I click on this. Then when I click on it, you see this arrow here, these 3 dots here. You see this load to. So I'm going to click on the load to again. Then it will bring up that menu all over. Where is that menu all over? Yeah, this is it. So it will bring this up again. So now I'm going to specify that. Let me just repeat what I've done because it might look too fast. In fact, let me use a simpler way. Just right click on this. Right click on the answer that we want, and choose load to. I think this is faster or easier. Load to, then this comes up. Now I'm going to tell it that I want it to come as a table, and I want it to take it to a specific place in my existing sheet. I want it to put it here for me, right? So that's what I'm going to do, and we can see the outcome now. If I click OK, voila. So I am going to close this part, and I want us to look closely. You will find out that I'm having the very same answer. Are you noticing that it has done the same thing as what I achieved using this one? Okay, so that's why I say that I'm essentially showing you 2 ways of doing the same thing. So it's a matter of preference, and then I'll tell you what can influence your preference. Okay, so before I move on to now explaining what is different between these 2 ways, right? Any question? Anybody has a question? Do you clearly understand what I've done? Is there any gray area?
I have a question.
Okay, sir.
Good afternoon. Well done for the good job.
Thanks for joining again, sir. Thanks for kind words. Okay, so I'm waiting for your question, sir.
So my question is, my own Excel that I use, I hardly see this Fuzzy machine there. Is it 0365 or which Excel version has this so that one can be exploring it and be using it?
Okay. What's your version, sir? Have you been able to confirm your own version?
I think it's 2010 or so.
Is your computer on now? Is it something you can check now?
It's not on now.
It's not on. Okay, so I'll just give you a very general answer that will be, maybe I should write it so that it's in case anybody too has that kind of question, they will be able to see the answer too. So,
okay, thank you.
okay. So I said there are 2 ways I'm demonstrating. I need to cut my fingernail. It's not letting me write very well. So let me just quickly do that now. Okay, apologies for that. 5 or 10 seconds. So the first one I showed us. Hey, now I can write. Man, it's not easy when you lose your nail cutter. You now have long fingernails. I have to go and get blade this afternoon. So Fuzzy Lookup, adding. So that's the first one. Way number 1. Then way number 2 is using Power Query. Power Query, let me just write that correctly. Power Query merge function. Power Query. Great. So how can you have access to this one? As long as you have Excel. So as long as you have Excel 2010, Excel 2013, I think it even works for, you know what? Let me not make things difficult for us. So I'm just going to give an approximate answer, but that is applicable to everybody. I will just say this works for all Excel versions. Okay, so this add-in approach works for all Excel versions. Where are you going to get the add-in from? All you have to do is go online, search for Excel, search for Fuzzy Lookup. Maybe I'll even post the answer. Fuzzy Lookup add-in in Excel. So if you search for Fuzzy Lookup add-in in Excel, make sure the answer you are picking is the answer that is from Microsoft. In fact, I'm going to post the link in the chat box so that instead of you going to search again and again in case you like it. And like for me that I even have Excel 2016, you see I have the add-in. So it doesn't hurt. You can have the two. There's no rule that says you should only have one of them. So I'm going to post the link now. Where's my chat box? So chat box. So for the Fuzzy Lookup add-in, which works on all versions of Excel. When I say all versions of Excel, if you go and install it on Excel 95, it might not work. But that's why I say practically the versions you have will probably qualify as the eligible version. So that's way number 1. Now I said way number 2, using the Power Query one. So using the Power Query one, if you have Excel 2016, good. If you have all these 365, when you check your own and you are seeing 365, as if there are 365 days in a year kind of a, once you see this, you are more than good to go. But if you check your Excel and your Excel is 2013 or your Excel is 2010, then you are not really that, you need an add-in. You need the Power Query add-in. So again, I told us you can go online and grab it. So let me give you the link for in case your Excel is 2010 or 2013. Where is that Teams again? So Power Query add-in for Excel 2010 and 2013. This is the link. Remember what I said, if you use 2016 and above, you are not installing anything. You already have Power Query, okay? So that's me answering your question, sir. So when you're able to check on your computer, you'll be able to know instantly which category you fall in. If you are using 2016 or 365, that Power Query is there for you. But if you want the fuzzy lookup, you have to install it. It's not follow come with any Excel version. Okay, so any other questions before I move on to start explaining what is different or what's really peculiar, you know, what can be a differentiating factor for you in which one you want to use between the two. Any other questions? Okay, good. So no more questions. I can go into the difference. Okay, so let's create something interesting. Let us say that for some weird reason, I am having this same person. I'm having him showing twice. So I have this person showing twice, and maybe here he has a middle name initial, right? Okay, let's even say the figures are different. So maybe here the figure is 19. Let's do one more. Let's do for this person also. So I'm going to say this person, let's even leave this person as he or she is. Let us make the figures different. 21. Then let's do a third one. So I'm going to color all of this so that it will be easy for you to identify what I'm doing that is going to be different. Then let's say for this person, let's look for someone who has an initial. Okay, this guy who has an initial. My keyboard shortcut is not working. So I'm going to leave him the same. Everything is the same. It has an initial here, it does not have an initial there, right? So let us do the fuzzy lookup padding. So let me repeat all of this. I'm going to clean everything here, right? I'm going to take all of this. I'm going to take it here also. Okay, I think I did a mistake. Let's just copy what I need. Copy this, come here and paste. Okay, good. So done. So let us demonstrate the difference. This is where that difference lies. Let's start with the fuzzy lookup padding, the add-in one. The add-in one, this one. So let's start with this. You remember the process. Make sure this is already in a table format, right? How will you know? You format as table. Because I've done it anyway, I'm not going to do it again. I'm just explaining that you ensure that it's formatted as table. Make sure that this also too is formatted as table, right? Good. Then what do you do next? Go to where you want to put the results, right? So for me, I want to put the result in this J column starting from here, right? I go to the fuzzy lookup, click on the fuzzy lookup adding tool. I set my parameters, which is what am I matching together. I'm taking staff name in table 1, matching it with staff name in table 2. Then I'm telling it to give me all of the fields across the two tables. And then I tell it to go ahead to carry out the fuzzy match, making sure I pick where I want the results to be. I click on go. And boom, it does its work, right? So let's check it out. Which one did it pick? When it did for, let's try and reduce the amount of distractions on the screen and compare. For Chukwu Adetosoye, can you see that it ignored this one? So it ignored this guy. It picked this one. Let's go check for Ibironke. For Ibironke, again, it did something. It picked one, it ignored the other. So it picked the one that is 15. It ignored the 21. Let's go check for Debari and Yegbon. Okay, great. Similar, it picked only one. And which one did he pick? Well, since both are similar, they are duplicates. So it picked only one. Claire, have you seen the outcome here? I'm going to go repeat this in the Power Query one, and let's see the difference. So someone seemed to have dropped a message in the chat box. I just want to quickly check what the person has said. Yes, Mr. Shei, the recording is going to be available. In fact, I can give you the link where you will get the recording. The recording, this is being televised, or how did they say it in the song? The revolution. So this session, not revolution, this session is being televised, it's being recorded. And you're going to get it on that link. So I'll put that in the chat box. All right, so let's go check out the Power Query way. I go here, and I'm going to redo all of what we've done. So I say that table 1, I go to data, I say grab it for me and take it into Power Query. So remember that. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to do close and load to. I'm going to call it connection. Create a connection, don't bring it back and start creating an extra table, extra sheet for me. So that's this one. Then I'm going to also do likewise for here, say from table or range or from sheet, whatever it is showing in yours, grab it. So it has grabbed it for me. So you see, I now have these 2 new sheets, right? Good. So as I'm here, I want to do that Power Query fuzzy match. So remember what I said, if you go to Home menu, you go to Queries, Merge Queries, you see Merge Queries as new. I click on that. Then this comes up. I be certain that I pick the tables that I'm using. So I think this one should be the first table, this, right? And this will now be the second table, table 29. So if you follow on my left side, you see. So I'm going to leave it as what I've told us, all from first, matching from second. Use fuzzy match. You can further do more settings here. I am not interested in that. So I say these are the matching fields. So remember, I showed us all of that. And then I'm going to say, okay. Right? And so it has done it. And then I need to expand and say, okay, expand the matching records into their constituents, like their fields, right? So that's what this means. You know, expand, and that's what I'm doing. Good. So once I have done this, I am going now to do. I'm going to do okay. Load, close and load. Close and load to. Okay. To connection. Say okay. Then it does its work. It's loading it. Then when it is done, I will pick the one that I want the result for. This is my result that I'm interested in. I'll right click on that one. I will say load to. So I want it to be in this Excel as a table, but I need to specify where. So maybe we should put it a bit more to the right of this one. So it should be, let's go where we have good enough space. So maybe I put it here. So that looks like a good position. And I say, okay. Good. So now let's compare the answers. Okay. How will we easily compare the answers now? I'm going to hide this one. So let me hide this one so that it does not distract us. So hide. So now we can compare the answers that have come out. Great. So how do I make you see my screen very clearly? Is this visible? I think this should be. Let me increase it a bit more. Okay, like this is good. So let's try out the issues, right? For our data, so Chuku, I picked this. So I'm going to color it yellow. Now, did he pick it somewhere else again? Okay, so he didn't pick it somewhere else again. For where is the other one? Ibironke. Are you noticing something? For Ibironke, I picked it twice. Right? Anye Bunam. Are you noticing for Anye Bunam? He picked it twice also. So are you seeing the difference that I'm talking about? So the difference is that when you use the Power Query one, you can get a much more robust output. Instead of it ignoring, just as this one did, instead of it ignoring the extra records, it can actually match it multiple times and say, even though Ibironke is only once here, it was able to find 2 records for it. Was able to find that there are 2 matching records for Ibironke, right? So similar to for Anye Boom Devari. Was able to find okay, so clear? That is one advantage that you get with the fuzzy matching in Power Query. It can be robust enough to capture as many occurrences of your data, in case there are duplicates, like somebody is showing up more than once, or it could match more than one record. Instead of it just blindly picking one, it shows you all the possible matches, and then that way you can decide to do a much more robust action. You can be like, okay, let me go and find out why are these people invoicing us for this stuff twice. So clear? So I've come to the end. Any questions at this juncture? Let me now save this file. I'm going to save it as solution, so that maybe I will just give you both. I'll give you both the source and solution. Okay, so I'm going to close my Excel and upload. So any question while I'm doing that? Anybody has got any question? Or comment? It doesn't have to be question. So have you figured out somewhere in your own work where you think this can be useful, and which of the 2 do you think will be preferable for you to use? Is it the Hardin that you will use? Why? Or is it the Power Query you will use, and equally why? Anybody wants to comment, say something, contribute, or ask a question? By the way, we will start giving out gifts like rewards. It can never be worth your time in terms of like we are paying you for the time you are spending, but as a token of appreciation to those who actively join and contribute. So we're working around the modality. Microsoft has given us they've also donated something to us. I won't tell you what it is, and we internally too are trying to keep up that pattern and keep adding, and we are just trying to fine tune how we are going to pick who to give a gift to every session. So just know that if you have been a regular participant, we are noticing, and we will try to reward you for your what will I call it now? I don't want to use the word persistence. For your diligence. Diligence is better, for your diligence. So any question? I'm trying to just upload the practice file so I can share with us. Okay, so if no question, once I upload the practice file and I share it, and we'll say bye-bye to one another. And for all your training needs, don't forget to reach out to us. Our website is www.UrBizEdge.com. If you just go there, you can instantly chat us up. You can email us at team@UrBizEdge.com. You can call us 016311-885. You can even call our special number 0700 Analytics. And here's my own phone number, but people complain that I'm difficult to reach. And I used to check why. And I found out that the why is that I'm training most of the time. And when people call me, they don't call me to say hi. They call me to give me work to do. Like, yeah, Mikey, I have something to do. Can you help me? So I just find out that there's so much you can do in one day. But if you are calling me to give me business, I don't want to miss that kind of call. So if you call me and it's like I'm in a meet training, or as I'm here and I can't pick call, just leave me a message and say business is business. I will abandon my training. I will tell them I want to go to the restroom or go somewhere, and I'll call you back. So let me get you the link to the link. So these are the practice file, the solution, and the raw data. Okay, so one last chance. Any questions? Did we get all what I've said is clear, and do you think they are going to be relevant for you? Okay, so silence is consent. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure presenting to you today. You've made my work easy. I don't think there has been a time that I was able to finish exactly in 1 hour, but you have all understood all what I've taught today, and no questions and no concerns. So we will see tomorrow. No, we'll see next week Sunday. And if you're interested in the Power BI one, there's going to be Power BI in about how many minutes now? Let me just get out the link for you. In about, if you're interested in the Power BI one, I will see you in the next 1 hour. Okay, how will you get the link? Let me grab for you the Power BI link. Power BI meet. get the Power BI one. Power BI Learning Community. So I will give you the link, and that way you can have the details to group. This is it. So if you join this, you will see the event we have. Oh, okay. Thank you too for joining, Mr. Oken. Thank you everybody who has dropped a message of thank you note. So this afternoon at exactly 6 p.m., well, that's evening now, we're going to talk about DAX. So in case you are one of the people interested in Power BI, then great, let's meet again. So thank you. Have a nice rest of the day and a great week ahead. Ciao.